What's up guys, David122 and it's list day! Yes, it's the top Tuesday and we're going to continue the series of our best cards in the mainstream sets of the game, and today's set is Rise of Destiny. This is one of those awesome sets that no one remembers exists because it's right at the end of the Duel Monsters era, and they were right after we started merging the set releases with the OCG. Before, they were taking small OCG sets that were back-to-back and mushing them into making a big TCG set, but they stopped doing that, and it kind of changed the card count as well as it introduced ultimate rares to the set, which is at least kind of interesting. But it, I don't know, it led to really small sets that are just, they're not very good. And like last set, it wasn't hot, and this set is better, but it's still a little weird. So I brought my buddy Tommy back to talk about another bad set in the game. Right, Tommy?
What's up, guys? I'm back. You requested it, and here I am.
No one requested it.
Shut up.
They were like, please, never again.
Can't stand this white guy.
Interesting fact, this is actually the last set with the Yamayugi on the cover. After that, it was just the main monster of the game. So that's kind of sad. It's the end of an era, Tommy. But anyway, let's get started. And as always, we're going to try our best to look at the set with just the set, and if we need tiebreakers or everything, or if it's just such a notable card later in the game, we can't ignore its anachronistic future history.
Good one.
So, you know, I'm expanding my rules just a little bit to be a little more flexible because they really kind of have to be. Otherwise, we get some really bad cards on the list that are bumping off cards that everyone knows are much better. So, let's get started with number 10.
Alright guys, so number 10 in the set is Harpies Hunting Ground. This field spell, what it does is each time a Harpy or Harpy Lady Sisters is normal or special summoned to the field, you get to destroy one spell or trap card on the field. On top of it, it increases the attack and defense of all winged beast type monsters on the field by 200. Also, Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3 also came out of this set, so we did have other options to go ahead and play along with this card. Potentially, you could use it to go ahead and pop your Hysteric Sign and search 3 Harpy cards from your deck, which is also a really great play strategically wise. Card was, like I said, good at the time, better now. That's why it's number 10 on our list. But moving forward, we have a lot more better cards coming up.
Dokoichi, the Battle-Chanted Locomotive. Yes, it's basically just a good Skulangle. Well, good Skulangle. But there was a wombo combo back in the day using another card that's on this list as well as Dokoichi, and its effect reads as Flip Effect, draw 1 card. Yay! Woohoo! But if you have a bunch of the Dokoichi things, they're the vanilla monster that goes along with it, you get to draw an additional card for each one of those you control on your field. And there's a really easy way to spam 3 of those vanillas from your deck if you have a card that's down the list. So potentially speaking, you could draw like, what, 4 cards off this thing? Which I think was actually a wombo combo back in Go format, if I'm not mistaken.
Go Plus!
Go Plus, Ultra. Basically, it's an okay card. It's not the greatest thing in the world. However, it was a chase card when the set came out, and you know, when it's a slower format, when any kind of advantage you can possibly get is important, okay, not terrible.
Facili Dragon, the Dual Mode Beast. This card was awesome when it came out. Level 7, Dark Machine type monster, 2800 attack, 2000 defense. Its effect was that you can normal summon or set it without a tribute. If you did that, its attack would be halved. You could combo this card with Book of Moon after it was already on the field for a turn, flip it face down, and then when you flipped it back face up manually, it regained its 2800 attack. Also, you could use it with Skill Drain, just slap it right there on the board and have a 2800 beater that your opponent now has to stare down. Later on, though, it was even better because you had a level 7 that was potentially a free summon, so you can go ahead and make some cool Xyz plays, maybe into like Big Eye or something like that. Not too much utility with this card other than that. About it, honestly. Good card though.
Number 7 is Mirage Dragon. Mirage Dragon is a level 4 light dragon type monster with the following effect. As long as the card remains faceless in the field, your opponent cannot activate traps during the battle phase. This thing was Mirror Force, D-Prison, and Sakuretsu Armor's Worst Nightmare. Tommy and I were at like the parks all day. We ran around all New York. I should have made a dual view out of it.
So tired.
We're exhausted. if you're getting a low energy vibe. With 1600 attack, this thing's a pretty solid little beat stick, and it basically means you can no fear into your opponent's back row, because if you summon this guy and none of that back row activated, you could be assured that it was probably all battle traps at that point, because none of it was trap holes. So now you are all set to just start swinging into that back row. Basically, this is a really good example as to why this set is just kind of okay. It's a little better than the last one, but most of the cards in this set are really just toolboxy utility cards. So there's nothing super bombastic like MST or Regeki, or it's just in your face awesome. So it's a lot of like small, good, solid card effects.
Makes up for the from last set. Number 6 is Monster Reincarnation. It's hot in here. We were running through the sprinklers, nice and cool, had some freaking hot dogs. Now we're dying in these damn lights. I hate you, Dave.
I hate you too.
Monster Reincarnation is a spell card, normal, that reads discard 1 card, add a monster from your graveyard back to your hand. I think Monster Reborn might have been banned at the time, possibly. Don't remember, it's too far back ago. Smoked a lot of weed back then. This card was a good toolbox card because it allowed you to add a monster that you really wanted to get back from your graveyard to your hand, and potentially discard something from your hand that you could use in the graveyard for later, that you wanted in the graveyard, or just a piece of crap you wanted to get out of your hand.
You could discard a monster and then add it right back just to neg yourself.
I'll neg you.
You gotta say something else about it.
That's all it does. There's nothing much to say.
Back in the day, we didn't have...
Shut up. Back in the day, we didn't have a lot of monster recovery or monsters that floated or replaced themselves in any kind of way, really. So this card was good for that, and to go ahead and kind of supplement everything. It was one of the better minus ones. That's why up here and not all the way down, number 1. The Creator! It's God.
It's probably OCG is just God. I bet you anything. The Creator is a level 8 Thunder Light monster with the following effect. Select 1 monster in your graveyard, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon the monster that was selected to the field. Oh, the problem solving we gotta stop reading the first edition versions of these cards. Is that a discard? No, I guess.
It's a send.
Does it target? It's a select. I think it's a... It does target a monster in the graveyard, but it is a send, not a discard.
Whatever.
This card's actually a pretty solid beater at 2300 with 3000 defense, meaning you put it in defense mode. At the very worst, it's just a big booty your opponent can't deal with. And every turn, you are getting more and more monsters back from your graveyard. And the fact that you send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard in order to special summon 1 guy from your graveyard to the field means that every other turn, you could potentially be summoning the guy you sent last turn as part of the cost, even though it's upon resolution, you know what I mean. Meaning that you can basically use this guy to cycle big monsters out of your hand and bring them to the field, albeit a turn later. But even still, back in the day in old slow-ass Yu-Gi-Oh!, this thing was a really great way of just spamming the board, slowly rolling that advantage.
Number 4 is Back to Square One. Kind of feels like this video. Back to Square One is a normal spell card that says discard 1 card from your hand and target 1... Is it target? Back to Square One is a normal spell card that says to discard 1 card from your hand, then target a monster. Back to Square One is a normal spell card that... It's a spell card. It spins a card, that's all it does. It's shit. Back to Square One is a normal spell card that's... You're looking at me stupid.
You want me to do it?
No! Back to Square One.
Back to Square One, no!
Una escuela. Muy caliente, señor. Back to Square One is a normal spell card that states to discard 1 card from your hand, then target 1 monster on the field and spin it back to the top of the deck. This is cool because it got rid of a lot of problematic monsters. You can potentially go ahead and spin a BLS right back to the top of your opponent's deck, and they'll be drawing into a dead card if they can't meet the summoning requirements again. Or if they had a Monarch on the field, they would have to tribute for it all over again. And if you got rid of all their monsters, guess what? They can't do that. Another neg 1, but still a good card though. Right, Dave?
You're right.
Alright.
Number 3 is Machine Duplication. The cool thing about Machine Dupe is this card was great now, this card was great later, this card is just freaking great. But I think the reason why it's not number 1 on the list is, even though this is the card that you could summon those vanillas so the train thing drew you more cards, that's the best thing it could do in this set, and even if you count sets before it, there still wasn't a ton. I don't even remember because we don't have Card Trooper yet, do we?
No.
No. So we don't really have much that you can do with this thing other than spam a bunch of low, weak machines. But it does get you tons of field advantage, so it's really hard to say that the card is bad, even if it doesn't have a hell of a ton of targets. But later on, though, you get Quick Fix, you get Drone, you get the Despots, Cyber Dragons. There's tons of freaking things that can use this stupid card, and it just blows up on the field. So we gave so we gave it a high spot because it is a very good card, even if it's not the best card right now. Get over here and finish this number 2.
Our number 2 is Thessalos, the Firestorm Monarch. This Monarch was another great addition to the set of Monarchs. His effect reads that when this card is tribute summoned successfully, this card's oh yeah, work it, baby, work it. This monster states that when it's tribute summoned successfully, you discard 1 card from your opponent's hand, and if it was a monster card, you inflict damage to them times equal to the level of the monster times 100. Thessalos was great. He was another one of those cards that just ripped a card right out of your opponent's hand. Added more control to your deck, included a little bit of burn damage, which was kind of sweet if you pulled it off the right way. If you managed to get him out during your first turn, you got some information into reading what your opponent's strategy was also. 2400 beater, just like all the other Monarchs, with the stupid ass 1000 defense, which makes no damn sense because they're big guys. Just give them some good booty.
Use some good booty.
Just heard what I said.
I'm not gonna put you through the rest of it, you're good. Get out of here.
So hot.
Before we get to number 1, we got some honorable mentions. The first one is BES Big Core, or at the point when the set came out, it was just called Big Core. They eroded it to include it to the BES thing, so I think they could get rid of a reverse Frog the Jam situation where they had to keep including this card by name. It was just easier to put BES in front of it, but whatever. Basically, when you summon the card, you get some counters, it can't be killed in battle, and then when it destroys something, you remove a counter, and then when it runs out of counters, you kill it, right?
Yep.
Hey, I'm taking a shower today.
No, get out of here.
BS, Big Core, he's a big monster, but he really didn't see much play until he got his legacy support, and even then it wasn't great. But I figured I'd give him some props because he was at least cool enough to get some legacy support.
Hey Dave, what does BES stand for?
Big,
Everlasting
a big everlasting Next up is Gaia Soul, the, what the fuck is it called?
Combustible Collective?
The Combustible Collective. It's like a hive mind of explosive plankton or something, whatever. It's a 2K 4-star beater, whatever. It's kind of cool. It kills itself and during the end of the turn, which is kind of lame, but you contribute 2 pyro monsters, and it gets an attack boost. It's okay. It's like the Facili dragon. Facili, the car guy. If you got skill drain on board, it's whatever, but okay, fine. And a dishonorable mention for Firefox.
Yeah.
This stinks.
Sucks.
So slow. You can't
even tribute it.
You can't even tribute it when it comes back. Like, it comes back during the end phase, which is so stupidly slow, and you can't tribute it. What's the point of it? At this point in time, you can't link or XC or like synchro with it. So what the freak? Whatever. Fine. And number 1 is Divine Wrath.
Woohoo!
My patrons and my Discord peoples are gonna be like, you changed the order of the list, dude. But whatever, I changed my mind. I think Divine Wrath is one of the better cards in the set. Sure, we had things like I think Solemn Judgment was legal at this time, but Solemn Judgment doesn't do effects, it does summons, and spell or traps. So, in your face, Judgment. Discard one card from your hand, negate the activation of a monster effect, and if you do, destroy it. Basically, it's just a spicy version of Solemn Strike, but at the time he didn't really have that kind of aggressive effect negation, so this thing was pretty interesting, and, you know, it did see some play later on with your Counting Fairies, and being a counter trap means it's woefully hard to negate in and of itself, so, you know what, your opponent thinks they're going to get you with that priority bull crap that was going around right now? Screw them. Boom. Divine Wrath. And that's it, I'm cutting this short because it's like 1,000,000 degrees in here.
Hot as balls again. What the hell, Dave?
Alright guys, that was Rise of Destiny or whatever the set was called. I can honestly say I don't think I ever bought a pack of this ever. So thank you Tommy for being a big pain in the ass and helping me with this video.
Always fun.
And remember guys, if you don't troll the battle, we will. I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, hey losers. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Wanna watch something else? Hurry up and choose one of these. Ugh. When are you gonna make a choice? This year would be nice.